All right, here we go. Episode 9, Look for the Light, The Last of Us. Here we go. Season finale. Max, was it everything you hoped it would be and then some?
Oh, that's a complicated question.
You think so?
Yeah, because, we both played the game and we kind of knew what was coming. Now, I guess you could ask how you think it was executed.
Right.
But I'm actually disappointed. We were talking about this off air that, the fact that you knew what was happening kind of took some of the, I don't want to say fun, but it took the surprise of, Christmas morning out of it. I'll put it that way.
I mean, but that's really how the whole season's gone, if you're looking at it that way.
Well,
but,
no, the other stuff in the season are they're not Christmas. This, when you play the game or, the stuff that happens in this episode is like, wow, it's a big kind of culminating event.
right.
And it's not like, oh, look, they recreated, this, little scene here.
Right.
This is a major epic thing that happens at the end. It's much more different than knowing, oh, she's immune and stuff like that.
Right.
I mean, it's the small little stuff that they recreate that mimic from the game is one thing. This is the thing,
Well, this episode did, I think, stay the most faithful to the actual video game than any of the other episodes, which, part of that was really good. That was a good thing. And then the other part of it, I guess, was a bad thing, depending on how you want to look at it.
Yeah.
But overall, I still think it was a good episode. We can dive in piece by piece if you want to. I think we should.
Piece by piece. There's like 3 main pieces. That's all there is.
It's midnight, man. I'm kind of getting a little delirious already. I'm just falling off. It's fine. It's fine. But what this episode did give us, though, is my wife's going to love me saying this, return of the soft opening, which I liked it a lot. So we did get a chance to see basically the birth of Ellie and
why she's immune.
We discovered how she's immune. And so last episode, when we did the deep dive of episode 8, I did say my theory was that the mom was going to get bit during childbirth. And I will say that I was right, but in a way I was wrong, because it actually wasn't my theory. It was my wife's theory. And when she listened to the podcast, she was a little upset that I took her credit. And I didn't do it intentionally. I kind of just forgot that she had already previously said it. Like most of the things that she says to me, I guess I forget.
Don't get in trouble, man.
I'm already in trouble. It's fine. It's midnight, so I'm already in trouble. So her theory was that Ellie's mom was going to get bitten during childbirth, and that's exactly what happens. And then little cameo, the mom, Anna, is played by Ashley Johnson, who actually plays Ellie in the actual video game. So now we just got we've already seen video game Joel, and now we're seeing video game Ellie in this episode. So that was pretty nice. I think Ashley Johnson did a really good job. And for those of you who do not know who she is in her daytime acting, she did a show called
Growing Pains.
And she was Chrissy.
She was the youngest daughter.
Yeah, the young daughter.
The youngest daughter.
The youngest daughter. She kind of still looks the same, to be honest with you.
She looks exactly the same.
Which is kind of weird.
Yeah.
But anyway, so we get to see that in the opening scene. And it looks like I'm guessing Ellie already popped out and then she gets bit, but the umbilical cord's still connected. That's what it kind of looked like, right?
Yeah, it was all one fluid motion, I'll call it.
Man. Oh man. So I mean, it was overall, it was a good scene. And then you get to see the connection between Marlene and Ellie's mom.
Known each other for a long time.
Yeah, I guess they've been friends since they were kids.
Yeah, before the apocalypse.
The apocalypse, yeah. And Anna makes Marlene promise to take care of Ellie, and then she also wants her to kill her.
Yep.
So that way she doesn't turn. Marlene hesitates for a little bit. She gives the baby to I'm assuming one of her number ones, who's an idiot, because she says, cover the baby's ears, and that guy doesn't do anything.
No.
Marlene goes and shoots Anna, and you still see the baby's ears exposed, and so that guy should get fired.
Well, Marlene's hesitation there, it's going to come back to haunt her again later on as well. Like some things you just got to just go, man. Just do it.
It's true.
Not half pregnant to keep in the line of pregnancy here. Keep going.
Oh, man.
You're okay over there?
I'm sorry. Okay, so now we go to the present time, and you see Ellie and Joel. They're still on their quest. They're on their mission. They're, whatever we want to call this.
You could see Ellie is a little different still from what happened at the,
She's
with the
spacing
cannibals
out,
and
yeah.
stuff. And Joel, you can immediately see he looks like a new man. He's a little more upbeat.
He's like
I'll call
spry.
It. Yeah, he looks
he's
spry.
Spry. He's happy.
Spring
he's
is
like
treating him well.
Hey, check out what I found. I found you some Chef Boyardee ravioli.
Beefarino, wasn't it?
Beefarino. We're having a meal tonight.
Yeah,
he's like super excited to like be on this.
Because she was excited the first time she had it.
Yeah.
Way back when, right? Episode 2 or 3, whichever one it was. But yeah, he looks like a completely different person, and I don't want to say he's trying to cheer her up, but she's obviously gone through what she went through, and she's still, I don't want to call it healing, but she's still recovering, let's say, from that. And he's, I don't know how much time has passed in between, but he seems it's spring now.
What was it? It was winter before,
it was winter,
right?
yeah.
Oh yeah, so decent amount of time.
Yeah.
So yeah, so she's emotionally still healing, and his penicillin stab seems to be all right because he moves well in this episode. Let's just say that.
Yep.
So we fast forward a little bit. We get to see the famous giraffe scene in the video game, which is pretty nice.
Mm-hmm.
That was pretty cool. They go through. It looked like an abandoned building, and there's a nice little scene. Well, it's whatever, but in the video game, there's a lot of teamwork that these two characters need to do in order to solve puzzles and stuff throughout the game.
Get through obstacles.
Right. And then one of the things that they do is Joel's constantly lifting Ellie up onto second story buildings to get ladders or drop a ladder down from a fire escape or all these other things. So you finally get to see that mechanic in the show.
Yeah.
It was nice. I think it was a nice little Easter egg for the people that actually watch the show. And the scene where he lifts her up and she gets a ladder and then she kind of just throws it down because she's excited to see something. That's pretty much exactly what happens in the game from what I remember. I still got to play it again. But she's super excited because she sees a giraffe for the first time, just out in the wild. It's got a bunch of little giraffe. It's in a giraffe little family.
Yeah, giraffes are one of those animals that's unique enough. They've trekked across the United States and I've seen animals, but giraffe is not one you would see commonly, right?
Not in the United States.
Not in the United States, exactly.
Right.
So it's still there's an awe factor whether it's the apocalypse or not. There's still an awe factor of seeing that because you've seen she's hunted rabbits and deer, and I'm sure they've run into some wolves that would have been nice to see during this expansion of this show. I'll save all those anger stuff for Wednesday, but yeah, it's it's good that she sees something so unique as a giraffe. Yeah.
And she's super excited, and Joel's excited because this is the first time I think he's seen her probably even laugh or look happy since the whole the thing over at Todd's Steakhouse.
Todd's Steakhouse, yeah, because throughout most of their journey, Ellie was very much a kid. Right? Very much a 14-year-old.
Smart-ass kid.
Acting more like a 10-year-old at times even.
Sure.
And what happened at Todd's Steakhouse kind of, I don't want to say hardened her, but changed her a bit. So it was good for him to see her being a kid again.
I think it's one of the final steps of her maturity or something because she's
the world that it is.
She's had to do a lot of stuff in this journey that, we don't need to go into all of that. That's what previous episodes are for, but she's been through her stuff. So, but then after this scene, they go down to where it looks like there was a medical military camp.
Yes.
And this is information that you get to see now that their bond is strong enough for now Joel to talk about Sarah to Ellie.
Mm-hmm.
And that's also something that happens in the video game, but it's very it's just a normal, it's a normal conversation that he would have with somebody that he loves, talking about another loved one.
Yeah,
right?
And then he goes even deeper and he brings up about his suicide attempt. That's really going deep.
Right. Why he was actually at that place. Because he says he was there to get stitched up or something, treatment. And the story was that he was there because someone missed firing at him.
Mm-hmm.
And then he tells her no, he was the person that missed, meaning that he tried offing himself, and then he says that he hesitated or something, and so
it was day 2. He said too, so it was literally the day after his daughter died.
Right? Yeah. So, I mean, I think it's an important part that, you know, he shares this information with Ellie and just shows how strong their bond is. But I forgot, before they actually go down there and have that conversation, Joel does mention to her after they just saw the giraffes and everything, how they don't have to go through with this. They can actually stop and turn around. That's a very important part also, because he's telling her that, look, we've gone through all this stuff. We've gone through hell. You know, we've almost died a bunch of times in this journey. You've done enough. Like, you don't have to keep going. And his reasoning for this is because I think he doesn't want to lose her. I don't think he knows what the ramifications are going to be when he actually gets to the Fireflies. But I think he's worried now that the journey that they're on, at some point their luck is going to run out, right? And so why not? You know, we've gone this far. We know it's behind us. Let's turn around. Let's go back to Tommy's. There's a civilization that's there. Yeah. There's an economy. You could be a nurse, whatever you want to be. Like, you know, like you could do whatever you want to do over there, right? Yeah. And it seems like they've got power.
You can live a life.
You can live a life. And she says, no, I don't want that. Like, we've gone this far. I need to see this to the end.
Yeah, she's still on her mission. It's, you know,
she thinks her life is and she's purpose. Right. Her life is probably the most important out of anybody's life right now. Because
as much as they know, she's the only one that's immune.
Right. And I think she also wants this journey to not be for nothing, to see all these people that have died on her way there. Yeah. Tess, Sam, Henry, Riley, all these people that she's lost. They can't be for nothing. So this gives this for her, I think, gives their death meaning, and you know, all the people they've killed on the way, it justifies it if this is the reason for her end goal is to save humanity.
Yeah.
So I thought that was a good conversation. So now we can fast forward all the way back down to them talking at the military,
the medical camp,
and then. This is, I don't know what it is. They're just like, they're goofing off now. Like, it seems like it's kind of interesting because it's like the infected don't exist anymore in this show at all. That they're just walking around in a city freely. Because remember, when they're not in the city and they're kind of like in the wilderness, they're not really supposed to be worried about the infected, because the infected normally go where the people were, right?
Yep.
So if you're out in the wilderness, there wasn't a lot of people there, so they didn't have to worry about it. But now you're actually in a major city.
Well, this city, they said, had gotten bombed, you know, but
so did Kansas City?
That's weak.
Didn't Kansas City get bombed?
Yeah, yeah. They said this one's getting bombed, so maybe
so did Boston, and apparently we found out that there was still, infected in the mall.
They had a ton in Boston.
The mall, yeah.
So it well, even remember when they actually went into Boston, that's when the whole network thing was there, and Boston had gotten nuked.
Oh, the network? Remember? What's that? I haven't heard of that. What's
Save that network? For Wednesday.
So, but what I'm saying is, like, they're just like, they're going through like these buildings, kind of not even like checking out a corner, making sure there's nothing there. Not infected, not scavengers.
They're more relaxed.
They're very relaxed, like too relaxed, to the point where he's like.
Well, they have that conversation. They sit there, and after he tells her, you know, that the suicide thing, he basically tells her, intimates her that. I think she mentioned time heals wounds, and she was like, "No, it wasn't the time. It's, you know,
it was you."
Yeah, she didn't say you, but it's, you know.
No, I think he did say that. Doesn't he say that it was you?
No, he doesn't say it.
It's definitely implied.
It's implied. It's strongly implied.
He gets teary.
You know? Yeah, so it's
I think her lips started quivering a little bit.
Yeah. But
it was emotional.
So they're very relaxed at this point. You would think they're in, you know,
right. Well,
in their living room.
All right, so they're relaxed. They're walking, still trying to find the Fireflies, and then these douchebags come up and flashbang them. And it's kind of interesting because you're thinking like, okay, so if you are the Fireflies, you guys are supposed to be the good guys, right?
Lookout? You're asking for them to be on lookout?
Well, I'm saying, but you're the Fireflies, right? Yeah. So you're supposed to be the good guys, and you are on lookout.
Okay.
Why are you flashbanging like a little girl and probably the dad? That's it.
I don't like the word "the good guys." From whose perspective?
Well, I mean, let's look at it. They're supposed to be the rebellion. Right?
Why is the rebellion the good guys?
Well, why is Fedra the bad guys?
Exactly.
But that's what I'm talking about.
That's my point.
That's how it's been perceived, right?
Yeah.
That's been how it's been perceived to us that the Fireflies are the good guys.
Or terrorists.
These guys are doing. They just flashbanged a little girl and a dad, And it was kind of a crap move. But anyways.
Yeah, and how come they didn't see them coming? It's not like when, just a few minutes earlier, they were sitting there having a heart-to-heart.
Right.
Like, you didn't need to do all that.
I feel like you have the drop on them because considering they're reading out of a book laughing. You could have just said, hey, hands up.
Yeah, did
Stop moving or I'll shoot.
Did you enjoy this round of no pun intended?
So memorable. Do you remember one of the lines? No, I didn't. When I rewatched,
that was your thing.
It was my thing. It's not my thing anymore.
Okay.
I'll rewatch when we do the deep dive on Wednesday. I'll pull out some of the puns and we can rate them from 1 to 10. If any of these
we really don't have to.
Oh, but we must now that you just said all that stuff. Anyways,
man.
All right. So now we fast forward. Now we actually. He finally brought Ellie to the Fireflies, and Marlene is there. And so we see Marlene for the first time in the present. Then we saw her in episode 1, right? And now we finally seen her again in episode 9.
Yeah.
So Marlene
wouldn't have hurt if she was there with in the Ellie and Riley episode. That wouldn't have hurt.
I'm kind of curious to see how long Marlene does Marlene actually say how long she's been there waiting for Joel and Tess?
Well,
no,
Ellie? She just mentioned that she came out. She traveled with a team to get out to, wherever they were across. And she was amazed that Joel by himself got her there. And I think she said she lost half of her crew, which was like 5 people.
Right.
And trekking from, Boston.
I wonder if they went through Kansas City. Or if they actually we've heard the stories of Kansas City.
They went around.
Let's go around Kansas City.
But yeah, this is the first time you saw her. I think we'll talk about it in another episode, but keep going.
Yeah. So, Marlene says how impressed she is with Joel, and she makes a comment how she's now she's in Joel's debt. She's she didn't think she'd ever Joel's the last person she wanted to owe him anything or something.
They have a long history that they could have developed throughout the series, but they obviously
because Marlene dated Tommy at some point, so
Tommy was a Firefly and a lot of stuff, but they didn't develop any of that in this expanded version of the game. But we'll just keep going.
Right. So this conversation, from what I remember, is pretty much true to what happens in the video game, where Marlene expresses how important Ellie is and expresses what Ellie's I guess cure is, which is locked into her brain, right? And the only way to get I want to say vaccine, but it's not a vaccine. It's
it's sort of vaccine. Remember World War Z? Yes. Okay. In that they use violent diseases to kind of mask mankind from the zombies. Right, yeah. This is somewhat similar, where they're going to use these receptors or to make the fungus feel like you're already infected. We don't need to attack you. Right. So it's almost like a camouflage, or it's hide in these stormtrooper outfits and walk around amongst stormtroopers, so they don't know that you're not a stormtrooper. Right. Pretty much. Right.
No, I got you.
So that's what they were going to do. It's not really a cure per se. It's just camouflage. Right. In a sense.
She explains it how Ellie basically needs to have brain surgery, and they need to kill Ellie to get this stuff out of her brain so they can make this vaccine, whatever. Multiply it to give it to the masses and save humanity. And so now
synthesize it, do all that beautiful stuff.
That. And so this does not sit well with Joel. Yeah. And exactly what happens in the game. Mm-hmm. And Joel expresses how, he's not happy with it. Marlene says, basically tough, you're going to leave. Has him escorted out. And then this is when we get to see angry Joel and, him just kind of lose his shit and just kill everybody.
Well, I don't think he was angry. I think
he is angry. I think there's a lot of things. I think he is angry. I think he's scared. I think he,
I think that's the most thing, is the fear that he's about to lose Ellie.
But I think it's also angry again. Why can't it be anger also? He's angry that he's going to lose a daughter again.
Fear is a more powerful emotion to do the level of execution, the level of damage that he does in there than anger. Because anger comes and goes. He was angry in that room. Right, when she's talking with Marlene and the other 2 Fireflies in the room, he's angry there. He's pissed, and as they're walking him away, you're angry there, but then the fear of I'm about to lose. Think about it. You're about to lose your daughter. You're angry in the beginning, but now fear is really creeping in. Like, oh my goodness, I'm about to lose my daughter.
Right.
Now you're really will make you push that fear of losing a loved one. Will make you. It makes mothers lift cars.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
The adrenaline starts going. Like now he's in full. I'm not letting this. I'm not going to go out like this.
So let me ask you a question. And I know we normally save this stuff for the Wednesday deep dives and stuff.
What, Marlene should have shot him right there?
Well, yeah.
Or they shouldn't even have brought him in to see if he was okay?
I mean, yeah, that part too. But so in the video game, okay, so in the show, flashbanged knocks Joel out with, he gets flashbanged and the guy comes and hits him in the head with the butt of his gun, knocks him out.
Yep.
And so then he wakes up and Ellie's already gone being prepped for surgery. In the video game, something similar happens. I can't really remember what it is, but I believe they're in a sewer. She's about to drown. Something happens where they get separated in the sewer, and then fireflies find them, and then I think he gets knocked out when he wakes up. Same exact scenario. Yeah. She's already getting prepped for surgery. So now imagine if it's a little bit different. So let's say that you get, the good Firefly guys show up and go, "Hey, hands up," and then he turns around and goes, "I found my battery, and I've got this girl here. I'm looking for the Fireflies Marlene sent me." I'm like, "Oh, we've been waiting for you. Come on in." So they both get escorted in together.
Mm-hmm.
They sit down. Marlene's there. Like, "Hey, congratulations, you made it. I'm so impressed that you did this. Blah blah whatever. Great, wonderful. Let's talk to the doctor." The doctor comes in and explains to them, "Okay, so yes, you do have the cure. I've run all these tests and yada yada yada. This is what we need to do. In order for you to save people's lives, you have to basically sacrifice yourself and have brain surgery. And then, whatever. So that way we can get the cure out of you." Joel's there hearing this information along with Ellie. They both have a conversation. Ellie expresses how much she wants this to happen. Joel becomes okay with it because he's there with her to go through all this information together.
Okay, where I'm
going with this is, does the outcome still become the same, where Joel loses his shit and kills everybody to save her? Because now she knows what's happening. Now you can't just do all these things and then tell her afterwards, "Oh yeah, turns out there was a whole bunch of other kids."
Yeah, there's a lot there. There's a lot to unpack there because, like, would you tell them that you're basically going to sacrifice yourself? You're going to tell a child that that they're going to die? I don't think you tell a child in any scenario that they're going to die. She's still 14. I would still think they would say, "Hey, we're going to do this procedure. You're going to be asleep. Everything's going to be okay." I don't think there's any scenario where you're sacrificing your life to save mankind.
Even that. Why, or even if you just present it that way, "Hey, you need to have this procedure."
Yeah, exactly.
And then everything should be fine.
Yeah, and then Joel would probably ask, "Wait, you're going to go into her brain? Is all thing? Oh yeah, I'm a brain surgeon. I've done this a million times. She's going to be okay." That's how it should play out in that scenario. They're never going to be like,
I think it's how it played out for her, isn't it? Because they said that she already knew she was going to have surgery, but they didn't tell her that she was going to die. Did they say something like that?
Yeah, I think she said they gave her a soft little thing that, whatever.
Probably should have told Joel that.
She didn't even know, like, when she wakes up in the back of the minivan, she didn't know. She was like, "Drugs? What drugs?" Right. They kind of basically drugged her.
I guess what I'm saying is, if Joel was there to process the information along with her and then had a chance to say goodbye, does Joel do what he does?
Yes, because I don't even think it gets to that point.
You don't think it what?
I don't even think Joel lets her go get what's the outfit that they wear?
The gown?
The gown. My wife would be pissed off. She's a nurse. Yeah, I don't think you can get to the hospital gown. He wouldn't allow that. Because think about it. It's your kid, right? We both have kids,
right? I just think it's a lot of information sprung at him when he just woke up from getting knocked out. Now you get all this information, but then to know that you're never going to see her again. Like, you never had a chance.
I'm surprised they even told them. They shouldn't even told them anything. They're like, "Oh, Ellie is, she got a little flashbang, a little concussion. She's being treated for the concussion. She'll be out real soon." Like, in this scenario, they've been together for months now, and obviously very tightly for them to have crossed from Boston all the way to Utah and, survive. And you can see in his face his general concern, because the first thing he's uttering out of his mouth is, "Where's Ellie? How's Ellie? Where's Ellie?"
Right.
Like, so you should pick up on that and be like, oh, they have a connection here. This is not cargo, like he said in that famous scene in the pickup show. Your cargo. Like, leadership again has failed. Marlene, as the leader, should see this whole season is bad leadership. She sees she should pick up on their emotional connection, and he could have gave her she could have given him a same BS story that he gave her, buy time, or just shoot him right then and there.
Yeah, I will agree with the whole. That Joel. I mean, she already knew Joel's reputation. She already knew who Joel was. Joel can it seemed like everybody in the QC and Boston knew who he was and feared him, right?
Yep.
So now that you know that he's going to obviously be pissed off, that there's a relationship that was built between.
He's a different person.
Yeah, I think she actually makes a comment about recognizing that he has feelings for her, and then she tells him, obviously I have feelings for her too. I knew her mother, blah blah blah, whatever. I promised your mother that I was going to keep her safe.
Yeah, so she said she understood.
And she cries a little bit when she says it. After, I think you see the tear fall on her face afterwards when Joel gets that squared off. But
and then she gives that Firefly idiot her knife as a, give this to him as a keepsake kind of thing,
Right.
Like, so they obviously have a bond, and you just. Yeah, I don't think I think she. That's
why the Fireflies never win. Man.
Fireflies never win. Yeah, in these scenarios, you don't give a 14-year-old the choice. You don't give the parent the choice. You just do.
But at the same,
if I'm the Fireflies trying to save humanity.
But look at it this way. This is how I look at it. So you can't give the 14-year-old a choice.
No,
because you have 20 Fireflies with machine guns sitting there, and if she says no, you could still make her do it.
Okay, but you definitely don't give the parent a choice.
Well, no.
What parent's going to sacrifice their kid? For no parent's doing that.
No. I mean,
I'm telling you, if I'm in the shoes of the Firefly, I'm not giving her a choice. I'm not giving him a choice.
So you're just saying, boom, boom, done right there.
Oh yeah, we're saving mankind here. There's no half measures. We're not half pregnant here. If I'm in Marlene's position of power, that's how I approach this.
Okay, so I hear you.
Now, from Joel's perspective, I'm not giving up my kid. I mean, especially after knowing my brother, her uncle, quote unquote, her new uncle, is raising freaking pigs to have bacon just a few states away.
That's right.
We can live in this post-apocalyptic world as is. Maybe I don't want to go. I don't want to save mankind. I don't want to save what's left, because the people who are left most of them are the worst versions of people left.
It's true.
Most of the good are gone. Yeah. So maybe I don't want to save these raiders and slavers who are apparently here.
There's not
that cannibals.
There's not that many infected around anyways.
Yeah, there's not in this show. so it's not like Walking Dead. There's herds of people coming down the highways and stuff in major cities. So I'm like, listen, if I'm in Joel's position, I'm not doing it whatsoever. Me and Ellie are going back to commune bacon with Tommy, and we're gonna live our lives as such and chill until the end, because it's the new world. Why do I need to go save the scumbag Fedra people who are raping people and hoarding apples, and the Firefly people who are flashbanging little girls, and that didn't sound right. But you get my idea.
I get your
you get my point.
I understand.
You get my point.
I understand.
So that's how I look at those two things.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not to be too long-winded.
Let's finish recapping this story now. The episode. All right. So Joel goes crazy, kills everybody inside.
Yes. Very well done.
Yeah. He goes into the surgery room.
Yep.
In the pediatric ward. I'm glad they stuck true to making sure that the surgery takes place in the pediatric center.
Yeah.
Goes inside. Doctor says, "You're not taking this girl."
Yeah, he brings a
Pops
knife,
him.
he brings a knife, not even a knife. What is it?
It's a scalpel.
A scalpel, and
Yeah.
the guy's holding like an AR-15. Like, what do you think you're gonna?
No,
or he had
no,
a,
yeah,
he had a handgun
his
at this
handgun
point.
out.
Still, a knife to a gunfight.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Pops him, gets Ellie, goes down to the basement or to the car lot, whatever.
Final board.
And
Final
then
level.
obviously Marlene's there,
Yeah.
and they have a small conversation. Marlene
Weak again.
weak again,
leadership.
but she tries to convince him.
Ugh,
She
bad
should have just
leaders.
popped him. To be honest, she should have popped him in the head.
Yeah.
But
Bad
she,
leadership.
she tries to convince him still, hey, after every single thing you've done, after everybody you've killed, we can still save this world, really.
She's trying to be diplomatic about it. She's trying to like walk him down.
It seems kind of weird, but
no, that kind of it's just bad leadership.
it's okay. So anyways, obviously that doesn't work out for her.
She
Joel
gets
still
shot.
kills her.
Yeah.
Shoots her, I think, in the belly,
Mhm.
puts Ellie in the car, realizes that there's a battery in the car, so we're all good to go. Closes the hood. Here's Marlene kind of like, moaning and groaning because she's about to die. She goes over there, pleads for her life. And he says, no, because you'll still come after us. And boom, just executes her in the head. That's leadership, I guess, that you're looking for.
Yeah.
And
Decisive action.
Right. So then it fast forwards to them, Joel driving away in the car with Ellie in the back. She wakes up and then he gives her tells her a lie, says like, hey, turns out you're not the only one who's immune. There was a bunch of other people that were immune there. They couldn't figure out how to make a cure. And so we left. The place got raided.
Yeah, Raiders came.
Marlene's dead.
Yeah.
And Fireflies are gone. And that's it. Ellie doesn't seem like she buys his story.
No, not at all.
And then fast forwards again a little bit more in time. Ellie has clothes now because she just had her gown. They made a whole thing about I need to get you new clothes. Anyways, so they make it all the way back to Tommy's town village, which is called
Jackson.
Okay. And she goes up to Joel and she makes Joel swear. You swear to me that.
Well, before then, she was telling about that she didn't kill somebody.
Oh yeah, then that she did. Yeah, that she did lie, that she actually did kill someone, and you actually find out and this is one of the things that we wanted to have happen
or see
at the end of the super important Riley episode.
Yeah, could have seen it in an expanded version of a video game.
But we wanted to know what actually ended up happening before Marlene finds Ellie, and it turns out that they did stay together, and Riley does end up turning in front of Ellie, and so she does end up killing Riley.
Yes.
And so she confides in Joel and tells Joel this, but then makes Joel swear that, every single thing that he told her was true, that what happened with the Fireflies.
Yeah.
And he swears.
He lies. He has to.
He
It's a
lies.
kid. You lie to your children all the time.
She says, okay, boom, fade to black, Sopranos, we're done.
Yeah. With okay. She accepts
With
it.
an okay.
She accepts
And
it.
that's pretty much verbatim for what happens in the game. The only difference, I believe, at least I'm playing the remastered version that's on the PS5, and so they might have actually changed this part, but I believe when you played it for the first time on the PS3, you did have a choice. You could actually choose to lie to her,
tell her the truth.
Or you could choose to tell her the truth. I never
I
never told her the truth.
In that scenario, would you tell your child the truth?
Absolutely not.
No.
Absolutely not. Not for something like that, no.
No?
No. They don't need to know that Papa executed 30 innocent people.
It wasn't 30. And they weren't innocent.
In the video game, it was like 45 to 50 people. Okay,
but we're talking about the show here. A lot of people listening don't play the game, but
right. But some,
you don't tell
people,
them because of you. So you don't tell them because you're worried about her understanding that he kills people. She knows she kills people.
No, I'm just messing. I don't think that she would need that hanging over her conscience. That's a big thing to be living with.
Yeah.
To know that he lied to her, that she actually is a cure that is viable to saving humanity, and
there's guilt in there.
All these people that wanted to make that happen, the doctor that's there, the nurses. Well, he doesn't execute the nurses, but the people that put together this, medical facility, I guess, to make this actually happen, are all dead.
Yeah.
Some of them, flashbang guy, bad guy. Marlene, good guy. I would think so.
Okay.
So that's a lot of execution on her plate. And then also goes back to Sam and Henry, and then even Riley, Tess, all these people that she maybe was trying to give their death's
reason.
meaning
Yeah.
is now kind of taken away, but then now it's like, no, it could actually have been, you could have given them meaning if you would have let this actually happen.
Yeah.
I think she wanted to, I think she would have died. So that's why I asked that question. I think if they presented that to her, hey, you can save the world.
She probably would have.
I think she would have. And
the
then
way the character
was, and then I think if she expressed her desire to do that to Joel would let that happen.
Yeah, I'm not saying that she wouldn't be down for that as a 14-year-old. I don't think they would have asked a 14-year-old to sacrifice themselves
in that world. Why not?
I think the way they did it was good, where it's just she doesn't need to know, so she can just.
That's true.
She can go out in peace. Ignorance is bliss for a 14-year-old.
That's true.
But to your point, if they had asked Ellie, she would have been down for the cause,
right?
Because just the way she is, and I wonder if doing the process, did they ever think about what are they going to actually do to me? Am I going to be a test mouse, a lab rat, whatever they call it?
I think she was just thinking they were going to just draw some blood.
Right?
She obviously thought her blood had powers because she tried to save.
Yeah, she tried to save
Sam.
Sam. Yeah. So I think she would have been down for it to sacrifice herself.
Yeah, I think so.
I lost my train of thought. I was gonna say something, but
that's okay. We'll sit here in silence and wait for that.
No.
Well, that's.
But I think I remember what I was gonna say. It's like that. I don't want to say survivor's guilt, whatever they call that, but it's it would have been a lot to tell her, because now she's gonna think like, wow, every time someone gets infected or dies or has to deal with raiders or whatnot, that she's indirectly responsible because she could have led to a cure, and that could lead her to one day, getting up and going to find fireflies on her own, to try to save herself, save the world. There's a lot of things that can happen.
Save the cheerleader,
Save the cheerleader, save the world.
Save the cheerleader, save the world.
Yeah, so I understand why he lied, and I understand why she knows that he lied, and she accepts it.
She does for now.
For now.
All right. Well, overall execution of this episode, I think it was done pretty well.
Oh yeah, they do a great job with it. They did a great job for season 1 of a very highly popular game. So you have a group of people who are watching it, who are eyeing it with a magnifying glass to make sure that it does the game justice, right?
Right.
And then you have the other group who are like, never played the game, but you still got to produce something that works for television,
Right.
So they did a great job in that for season 1. Did it have some stuff that I wish they had expanded on? Well, I'm sure we'll have a couple episodes to talk about that, podcast episodes to talk about that further. Yeah. But I liked the episode. I thought it was well done. I do miss the Christmas aspect of it. It would have been great to see.
Sure.
And it would have been great for it to, what is the thing? Wreck the internet, if it was, if you remember how when they killed Ned Stark in Game of Thrones, how big that was, because it was a far greater group of people who didn't read the books. Right. So it was really fresh, and everybody was like, wow, that was kind of big. Or the Red Wedding, right?
I think there's a significant amount of people that are watching this show that haven't played the video game.
On
HBO, on a show on HBO, yeah, I think so.
They sold like 30 million copies of the game.
Yeah,
they sold a lot, and I think most of the people watching did play the game.
Yeah,
because this is.
But hey, that might be a skewed number, because I've bought this game 3 times. Okay, I bought it when it was on PlayStation 3. I bought it when it was remastered on PlayStation 4. And I just now rebought it when it was remastered on PlayStation 5.
Yeah.
So if they're counting all those iterations together,
yes, there's
that
a lot
number's skewed a little bit.
But I really do think, like, especially the first run, because nowadays there are a group of people who are not going to watch this until all the episodes are available, so they can binge it.
Sure. Yeah.
And people schedule. I know a ton of people. This is on their quote unquote list. They're not watching it weekly like we are. But a lot of the people who watch this right now, they played the game too. The
Right.
bulk of the people. Maybe as the months go on, you'll get more people who didn't play the game to watch it because of the hype and the success the show has gotten. But I'll be safe to say the majority of people watching this first run, they were mostly the gamers.
Okay.
So it was a lot to live up to.
Well, here's what I think our plan is, at least for the next 2 episodes. So I think what we should do is wrap this episode up. Let's give this
It's proper justice.
a points review. The next episode, we'll do the deep dive like we normally do, as far as like pull some scenes, talk about some scenes individually.
Easter eggs,
stuff like
some
that.
nice Easter eggs in here.
The next episode after that needs to be an overall episode or overall season review.
Yes,
so what we're gonna do is
lots
we're
to
gonna
say there.
rewatch all the season. Like we're gonna binge watch it, so that way some episodes that might not have been as good by themselves in that 1 week, but if you're able to binge watch it all in like a day or two, and you kind of cram that uneven episode in between 2 good episodes, does it make that episode better?
Oh, which episode? There was only one episode that I didn't really like this season. the 2 episodes. Was it last episode? 2 episodes ago.
You're talking about the Riley episode.
Yeah.
I
I don't think you could connect those.
I mean, overall,
There was one Kansas City episode that was building up. If you put the 2 Kansas City episodes together, they're great.
sure, yeah.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
All right.
That'd be cool.
I think I'm with you on that. But anyways, overall, I think this episode, I'd give this episode. Ooh, that's tough. Let me think for a second. I'm going to go with a 9 on this episode.
Yeah.
9 out of 10. I think it's 9 out of 10.
Same.
It's definitely, like I said before, I think this episode follows more closely to the source material than any of the other episodes did.
Yeah.
But I think it needed to. You know what I mean?
When Joel is mowing down those fireflies with the music going in the background, it's a great scene. I mean, they did a really good job on the episode.
Yeah, I think they did too.
It's definitely a 9 or a 10.
Yeah.
There's not much to complain here, and there was good emotional connection again to show you between Ellie and Joel. They did a great job.
Yeah.
They really did.
I think they did also. All right, I think that's going to wrap this episode up.
Yes, sir. Got a lot to say on Wednesday, though.
Yes, we do. Thanks to everybody for listening. Don't forget, we've been rebranded. I forgot to start off this episode with that. We are the ExStreamists. Don't forget to check out our Mandalorian episodes that we drop every Wednesday. So be on the lookout for that. We also have more of the shows coming up, which we'll be talking about as soon as they're ready. We have some new episodes of Still Holds Up that'll be airing hopefully in the next week or so. So be on the lookout for those. Thank you everybody for your support. Also, don't forget, if there's anything that happened in this episode that you really liked or you didn't like that you'd like us to discuss in the next episode, feel free to message us at what is it again, Max?
info@rotyourbrainmedia.com or on our Twitter account. At @rot_your_brain.
Yep. And then we also got a Patreon page.
Yes, sir. Patreon.com/rotyourbrainmedia.
Yeah.
You get all our good stuff. All that information's at the bottom of the podcast. You can, follow the links there.
Yep.
Just because The Last of Us season finale aired doesn't mean we're done. We have, like you said, we're going to do the recap.
Yep.
Feedback episode on Wednesday. We're going to do wrap up, and we have a special episode where we're bringing in a couple of our, loyal listeners who are going to actually be on the podcast to give their insight.
Yep.
We have a couple of them lined up, so that's going to be awesome. And then we have probably have some fun with some other things. So there'll be other, Last of Us content.
Yeah.
That goes on immediately over the next month or two, and throughout the as anticipation for season 2.
Yeah, we'll pepper some stuff in throughout. Yeah.
While we're doing Mandalorian, Severance, Tulsa King, eventually it's going to come back at the end of the year, so we'll be doing a couple other stuff there.
Yep. All right. Thank you everyone for listening, and we'll catch you next time.
Yes, sir.
Music composed by Kyle Torme. Additional bed music composed by Jason Zaffrey. Thanks for listening to this episode of The Last of Us, a Rot Your Brain podcast. Subscribe to The Last of Us podcast feed at rotyourbrainmedia.com/The Last of Us. Follow us on Twitter at rot_yourbrain and support Rot Your Brain Media and its podcast by being a part of this exciting new and growing community. Visit patreon.com/rotyourbrainmedia.